It's now time to delve into the stories, go behind the headlines, interrogate what the issues are, bring you some clarity, bring you some perspective as to how all of those headlines affect us. And of course, with the Middle East tensions escalating, U.S.-Israel attacks and the subsequent retaliatory attacks from Iran, it is believed strongly that that ongoing war or conflict has ripple effects for the whole of the world, of which we here in Ghana are included. We understand that the economic consequences of this war has far-reaching impacts. Some analysts say that it would go beyond months and possibly even years, right? So are we really insulated from the shocks of some of these global issues as and when they happen? What can we do as a country to safeguard our interest? My guest will be helping me delve into the issues. Privileged to join me is Honorable Neil Lante Vanderpoel. Needs no introduction whatsoever. A former minister for many portfolios, now is the coordinator for the District Road Improvement Project or program, the DRIP initiative. And it's always a pleasure having you join me in studio. Honorable Neil Lante Vanderpoel, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. The last time I publicly engaged you on anything news related was at the anniversary celebration for the late Professor Mills, and it's always fascinating to see how you talk about him with so much passion. Thank you so much for coming. Later on the show, we'll be joined by Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu, who is a former CEO of the Environmental Protection Agency and a communications team member of the MPP. The show is live and interactive. All of your comments, questions, contributions are welcome. I'll read them for you. If you have anything you want to share, please feel free to do so via the WhatsApp number on your screen. Honorable, we'll just delve straight into the big stories, right? Of course, global energy security, issues around shipping routes have become topical with regards to the ongoing Middle East tensions. The MPA came out very early to allay the fears of Ghanaians when they said that we have in excess of 5 weeks of fuel. Conversations are also rife around our reserves and what we can do to be more self-sufficient, even though we are part of a global supply, or we don't exist alone, right? So I don't know, I would want your initial thoughts around this ongoing war. Mind you, we are told even in the Middle East, there are about 2 wars that happen, because Pakistan, Afghanistan are also at it, when the Afghanistan Minister for Defense said that it's a war. So clearly, the lines were drawn. I want your initial thoughts around this ongoing Middle East conflict and on what you make of it.
Well, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our viewers and to all of us on the program. We live within the international community, whether we like it or not, and we want to say that anything that affects one particular economic zone would directly have an effect on us in the continent and also in the sub-region. The reason being that as countries, we become a bit more import dependent, and also the little that we have, we also export it to those areas in order to get the necessary foreign exchange. And as such, we are not an island, so whether we like it or not, that will have an impact on us. If nothing at all, it will have an impact on our people who are living in those areas, whether for educational purposes, for social purposes, and for economic gains. So it is not something that we should take it lightly. I don't envy our colleagues who are
in the Middle East.
Yes, doing the diplomatic services for this country at this particular time. Because 24/7, you have to be up monitoring the life and activities of Ghanaians domiciled in those areas to see how you can give them the necessary support they need or they require in order to be able to be safe. So what is going on is not something that any Ghanaian should sit and think that it is the people in the Middle East who have gotten their problem. It's our problem too. For example, let me say this. Iran controls and supplies about 20% of the world's oil. It may be supplying most of their oil to China, but they still have a tremendous effect on the supply chain of oil in the world. And as such, anything that affects them will indirectly affect the oil economy globally. So what is happening is not something that we can easily discount. It is something that all of us should be concerned about, and to know that it will have repercussions, whether we like it or not, on our economy. First, let me say this. I think that this whole thing was totally uncalled for, was unnecessary, and not needed. The cliche has always been, if it's not broken, you don't fix it. We've managed the perceived troublesome nature of Iran for some time. It's not today. Since the time of the Ayatollah Khomeini in the late 70s, we saw the posture of Iran. Subsequently, all heads of state or presidents of America have used one tactful diplomatic means of managing Iranian threat to world peace. The International Atomic Energy has also had a relationship under President Biden to be able to make sure that the threats of Iranian use of unconventional weapons were minimized. To the extent that there were sanctions, there were moratoriums and things which were placed on Iranian officials, and also with a supply of nuclear or production of nuclear warheads. Various inspections were carried out into their manufacturing plants, and at a time, some of their things were even destroyed. Where we've gotten to in the world, that's the sort of diplomatic stand that the world can take. We've used the United Nations platform to place sanctions on Iran. We've placed sanctions on their oil exports before. All these achieved a measure of control over the threats that Iran posed to the world. I think the decision taken by President Trump, which did not even receive Congress approval, is a bit irrational, and to me, it is
Are we seeing history play out in all of this, right? Because analysts will be quick to point to you that I remember the Bush war on Iraq, right?
Yes.
Where we were told that there were weapons of mass destruction. You know, the likes of Colin Powell all speaking on the war, justifying the need for it. You know, US would eventually invade, and we are yet to see these weapons. You'd recall the Afghan war as well, when the, you know, a regime change war, you know, trying to remove the Taliban government from office. 20 years after the war, different administrations from Obama to Trump to Biden. Another example, Libya. Power back to the Taliban.
Look at Libya too. So you see, the issue is not just about kinetic, let me say, force, because the world has transcended those conservative means of achieving peace. After all these years of the United Nations, I believe that even if the United Nations have not been able to achieve anything, it has set the ground rules for certain attitudes and behaviors. And as such, what we need to do is to how to make those ground rules more effective and stronger in naming, shaming, and exposing people who have ultra motives in infringing on the sovereignty and jurisdiction of others. When people go into certain areas where they pose threat to international peace and security, we still have to use that diplomatic platform to be able to achieve the results we desire. Because the ultimate objective in the setting up of the United Nations was to make sure that we engage more than use force.
Interesting.
Because of the repercussions that ordinary citizens of countries suffer. For example, look at what is happening in Iran. It was Iran who was attacked. But look at all the other countries who are suffering.
The bases in the Middle East, US bases in the Middle East that are being targeted.
Yesterday I saw a video of people who have gone on holidays and business trips to Dubai. Now they cannot sleep in their hotel rooms, they are sleeping in the bunker. You know, so it is not pleasant. As we said, our former vice president has gone to
Saudi Arabia
for Umrah, just to go and have a period of play with his maker, Almighty Allah. And now,
your point is
it's not the only person. So many other Ghanaians
are stranded.
There.
But you say the ministry is doing a good job to at least constantly give us. In fact, the Black Queens at the point, are still also having some challenges.
The ministry is doing its best, and let me be frank with you, they are updating us and they are also monitoring. The problem I have is other citizens of the country. You see, one mistake a lot of us do is that when we pick our passport and we sit in a plane and we leave the shores of Ghana, we think that is all. No. Every Ghanaian, wherever you find yourself, should at least immediately introduce yourself to the mission. So that in situations like this, the missions will be able to monitor and to track your movement, advise you what to do, and when it becomes worse, it becomes easier for the mission to be able to target you and evacuate you from.
So they're able to account for you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this really robust, preliminary comments on this. I'm grateful for your insights as always. I'll come to Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily. I trust you are well.
Good morning, my brother.
You're looking very hearty and hale.
Sure. God has granted us today. What else can we do?
I love that.
Crazy. Good morning to Honorable.
I thought I was going to see you on Tuesday.
Yes.
Sam JP's father-in-law's 1 week. Because you said Mr. Kakari is your friend.
Yeah. It got lost on me, one. Two,
Okay.
there was a very pressing issue concerning my family.
Okay.
I mean, external family. So I've wished him already, and I'll be present during the funeral. So
I think they said 30th April or something.
30th April.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a very sordid story. Very bad.
A very nice man.
Yeah. I know him personally.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Honorable Kokofu, I'm sure you're really elated by the news from the Foreign Affairs Ministry, reported by some media platforms about your presidential candidate who's been safely evacuated, amid the ongoing Middle East tensions. Do you have any story do you have any particular context on this story for us?
Well, viewers must as well be greeted. We're talking about the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the MPP presidential candidate, as we know him now.
Okay, and I note that he and the wife are doing well. They are in safe hands. Yeah, Allah is in control. And you want to say that he has been evacuated to a safe haven in Saudi Arabia by who? But the story is not complete. Ghana mission.
Yeah.
So is it a news? Is it news? Is it nothing? You see, we are building a country, and we've built a country since the days of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Every Ghanaian everywhere deserves the good services of this country, let alone those who have put their lives on line to serve this country and serve the country better. It is a very tragic, I mean, it's something nobody thought of, this US, Iran, Israel war, something. So they've been caught as many people have been caught in this frenzy.
In the crossfire.
Yeah, in the crossfire. So I do not have any news about that, but if it is, then so be it, because we are praying for everybody's safety, including the incoming couple of this nation. I do not know whether the news. I read a certain newspaper said Mahama Mahama plucks Bawumia Samira from Qatar war zone. Really?
The aide, Akbar Khomeini, came out to clarify, and it's been reported by the Daily Guide that they were in Saudi Arabia and there's been no evacuation whatsoever. I think it was widely reported that he was in Qatar at a point and was safely evacuated. So, of course, I don't know if you had any other information to it. But
even if I do have, I need not share anything in public. I mean, this is a situation that nobody anticipated, and all we can do is to pray for their safety. I mean, they should come back home safely. That's what we're looking at. But then, let me have a bite on what's going on.
I was coming to that.
The international geopolitics has come to a point where security have been very serious issues. Countries' security, threats to countries, as existential threat to countries, have been viewed as something you can't talk about. About 47 years ago, this US-Iran fracas had begun. And it came to a point where America, as I have read and I've known and I've studied during international politics. You know, I did international politics and defense and international politics as GAFC, Ghana Armed Forces Command. And history will tell you that this relationship between US and Iran have been marred by most of these so-called terrorism and terrorist actions and activities that has gone against the people of America or USA, and to some large extent, Israel.
Are you referring to the 1979 hostage at the U.S. embassy in Tehran? I think that was under President Jimmy Carter.
And numerous you can recount. Since then, there had been this kind of tension between the two countries. Last year also, there was a fracas between Israel and Iran. And Iran is on record to have said that they will wipe away Israel from the world map.
I think it was Khamenei who
And then death to USA, death to Israel. All these threats have not been taken kindly by US and Israel, its ally Israel. So always there had been that bone of contention, who is right? I mean, who started all? And what is it? You were counting years back when US said Iraq was
weapons of mass destruction.
Mass of destruction and all that, so they attacked. The same thing plays here. They suspect, or not even they know, that Iran is seriously preparing to have nuclear weapon. And since the days of the arms race, where treaties and other things have not worked, after the Second World War, we used to have about just two nations who had these nuclear warheads. But today, as we speak, Pakistan, India, Israel, beside the big boys, I mean China,
Russia,
US, Russia, North Korea, France, UK. Germany, not yet, but these 8 countries are known to have nuclear weapons. And it is the greatest threat to mankind as we sit here.
Honorable Kokofu, I wanted to ask you this question, and we'll delve into the implications it has for Ghana. We've heard from the Trump administration, in fact, their defense Secretary of War, as they now call it, Pete Hegseth. We've heard from him, we've heard from the Vice President, J.D. Vance, even the President himself. But there seems to be a mixed messaging in terms of the motive for the war. So whereas in one breath you have maybe President Trump say this is to destabilize their nuclear sites, we've also heard other people say this is a regime change war. You know, analysts also points to their oil supply to China and the fact that these are two superpowers, you know, competing. Per assessments, right, of all that's ongoing, what will you say are the motives, you know, the real motive behind this war?
Well, the real motive is one, but the results may be many. The real motive is to disarm Iran, to dismantle the threats that hangs on the head of USA and Israel. That's the real motive. But the result will end up in getting a regime change and also modifying commodity, as you put it, oil or whatever. I mean, that kind of economic interest. So you may be wrong when you want to mix both.
All of the issues.
Yeah, the motive is one, and for me it's one, to avoid security threats. And that is key to every nation. We sit here in Ghana and we've lost precious lives in Burkina Faso without any cause of provocation. We've lost them. They are all security threats. When you profile the national security architecture and pointing, you get to know that a country like Ghana, we are almost naked. We are very vulnerable. Very, very vulnerable. In the event of any attack, I don't know how we're going to be able to defend ourselves. So these countries, advanced as they are in armament race and all that, the capability is there. They have the capability.
But who determines who can have a nuclear weapon and who can't have a nuclear weapon?
Well, that one I leave it to you and everybody, because you see, U.S. and Israel think the regime in Iran, they term it as very irresponsible when it is armed, because they are oppressive. They can do all manner of things. They are supporting and financing terrorist activities
through their proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas,
and all that.
Houthis.
Yes. So in order to dismantle that cell, in order to avoid escalating, you need to disarm them. That's what they're saying. I'm not justifying that, but we are trying to interrogate what it is. It may be academic, but there's a reality on the ground. So if it is a regime change, it's to be an end result. If it to be an economic advantage, as per oil exportation or exploitation, that will be an end result. But the real intention is to disarm Iran. And you see the regional security, I mean the Middle East, has never seen peace.
In a long time.
In a very long
There's
time.
even the Pakistan-Afghanistan war ongoing.
And it will
who says America has no hand in it?
And it will
In the
continue.
Pakistan-Afghanistan war.
And it will continue. At one point, it was Iraq. When Iraq was being viewed as the bad boy in the region, U.S. and others were backing Iran.
Okay, they were backing some militants there. Is that what you're saying?
You see, always they need that balance.
U.S. built Iraq against Iran in the past.
Yeah.
Turned around.
Yeah.
Gave Iran support against Iraq.
Yes. So they always want.
So it's all about interest.
It's all interest.
Yes. So they always want to achieve some form of balance within the region. You can be strong, but don't be stronger.
Did the U.S., and very briefly on this, did the U.S. undermine Iran's resolve to defend itself? Because we are seeing of the retaliatory attacks at U.S. bases in the Middle East. So Kuwait have been attacked, very badly. In fact, they lost 4 servicemen. The U.S. lost 4 soldiers at the Kuwait base in an attack. We've seen attacks in Bahrain. We've seen attacks in Jordan. Did the U.S., with all of its military might, underrate Iran's resolve to defend itself?
Oh, not. But this is not self-defense. This is a retaliatory kind of thing. It's not self-defense. You see, you are exposed. A country like U.S. is exposed by way of dotting out their bases all around. So they try as much as possible to provide security and protection. However, you cannot. In war, you don't win. You can win a battle, but it continues, it rages on. So in war, there are a series of battles. So if you can ground his navy, I mean, if you submarines and all that, he can just use petrol bomb, just this petrol bomb, and throw it out there, and you face casualties. And don't forget, they knew, and they knew that you don't go to such a war and come out
unscathed.
The risk involved, they knew. And so they've been warning their people abroad to be security conscious, evacuate, and all blah, blah, blah. And they have even said that they are prepared to record more casualties, provided they can achieve their aim. And their aim is simple, just to disarm Iran.
I don't think the U.S. is being proactive in this. Let me say this. I have always believed in international peace and diplomacy. Just as Honorable Kukofu said, I have also been a student of international
relations
and
security.
Also security.
Yeah.
You see, there is no way any one country can say, I can ensure peace, democracy, human rights in the world. You can be the world's policeman. And I said that's why we believe that the international framework, the United Nations, the Security Council, and all those things should be stronger, should be enabled to become stronger and act as the catalyst to be able to
is it not an exercise in futility?
It is not.
Because
it is not. It's much more.
Who controls the world's order system?
You see, the issue is that if we all believe that the past, the history of this world is what led us to this step, if it's not broken, we don't fix it. So let's strengthen the United Nations, make it so strong that its measures, its punitive, its sanctions and the rest will bite on people who go against it. Because you see, I don't believe in kinetic force. And I'm saying that in all situations, America cannot justify what is happening. Do you know why? We have a framework with the International Atomic Energy Commission supervising the manufacturing of nuclear in Iran. Some of them reducing their capacities and all those things. Because one, you cannot also say that you are denying the people of Iran their right to self-defense. Because they are not the only country. The only reason why the focus is on Iran is the belief that they can recklessly and irresponsibly use that. But that's the belief. Who determines how somebody becomes president of one crazy man can become president of America, and also how he will use the warheads they have.
One crazy man indeed.
You understand? It's there. The only thing we can do is to engage all these people within that architecture of strong, deadly weapons. Engage, talk, diplomacy, so that we can look at what is happening in North Korea. That funny guy gets up every time. He wants to see how these missiles work. Then he go and test. You understand? So it is not sometimes. So what we need is to be able to engage and let all of us as a people understand the repercussions and the harm will be causing not only others but our own. Today, American citizens in other areas are also suffering. You understand? If today the repercussions is faced by Ghana, American citizens in this country will feel it. So it is important that we engage and make sure that we use the round table to discuss issues, limit the tensions, because no one
is an island on its
own. You cannot win this. Let me say this. Today, Iran also responsibly is attacking US bases. But in doing so, it is not only affecting US, it's affecting their own kith and kin in other, because somebody is in Iran, his relation will be in Doha. You understand? Iranians go to Doha. So what we should understand that there is no way you think that what you are doing will adversely affect one particular person. The world has become a global village, and I said people are moving around and people are engaging everywhere.
Amazing.
So one of the key issues, for example, today, you say you want a regime change. Why should US think that they can determine for another country who should govern them? Why should US decide for Iranians who should govern them? How can you sit in your country and determine you want a regime change in another country? Two, You said you are not happy with their oil trading with China. For Christ's sake, who decides who I should trade with? Today, if we are able in Africa to break down our barriers of trade and trade among ourselves, make after better, and so that we don't have to trade with Europe or America, the US say they are not happy with it, so they come and attack us. Is that the sort of world we want to live in? So these things are not supposed to be the idealistic environment we're supposed to live in.
And we need stronger world institutions
to be able to take these decisions. So we should all look at
but the pushback is if one country is always, contributing more of its, resources towards strengthening. So, for example, the World Health Organization, over 50% of its budget is from the US.
You see, Honorable had continuously stated that there must be dialogue, round table talking, and all that. I agree. That should have been the ideal situation. Do you remember Kofi Annan, our own Kofi Annan? Yes. He started some form of reformation in the UN sector. And he was never liked for that. UN has outgrown its importance to some extent, particularly when it comes to security issues.
I don't think so.
Well, fine. But Russia goes to Ukraine. And the main reason is that it won't allow Ukraine to join NATO because of existential threats.
Why?
Oh, please. I'm just helping you because you were talking why another country doesn't want another. So it happened here, and it happens there. In between, we are caught in that crossfire. So if UN had been all the arms and all those things the sections of UN had been up to task, we would have been resolving all these things long ago. But trust me, security issues transcend what you and I think. The countries in their own foreign policy arrangements will want to place premium and priority on security. If they suspect, if they think that your actions and inactions may affect their own security, that is their topmost interest. You said it's interest all around. Security interest is topmost. So let's leave it. Let's happen there.
I think we've looked at the war.
Since creation, God says that I wish that you live in peace with one another.
Yes.
Thank you for the word.
Islam, the same.
Thank you for the word. Thank you for the word today.
Yes.
Honorable, markets are responding to rising inflations as a result of the war. Energy prices are crumbling. We've seen the price for oil already go up. You alluded to the fact that Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz area controls about 21% of the world's crude flow. And it has serious implications for everyone else in terms of oil, in terms of crude, in terms of Brent. We saw also the MP come out to explain to us that we have 5 weeks of fuel left. I want you to just talk to us around what we can do as a nation to safeguard ourselves from these global shocks. It's become too repetitive. So, for example, COVID happens, everything will have to come to a halt. The Russia-Ukraine war, everything has to come to a halt. Even very recent in your administration, when you first took off, I remember when USAID withheld funding, it almost caused challenges within the health sector. So what should we be doing as a nation? And of course, we heard how the NDC played a lot of politics with the Russia-Ukraine war. When Nanado said, bombs that fly in Kiev hits our pocket directly, some of you in the NDC disagreed, right? How should we manage ourselves as a country in a manner that we are not too susceptible to these global shocks when they do happen?
I'm happy with tomorrow is 6 March. I'm happy. What Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said so many years ago, about 69 years ago, is what is the answer to all this. Self-dependent. If we are able to add value to our raw materials, we are able to build our capacity to manufacture and produce what we need and what we require. At least we'll give some little bit of resilience to the shocks and the effects of these international pressures when they occur. I remember somebody that most Ghanaian historians don't want to talk about, Kutu Achampo. Very innovative. You understand?
Operation
Feed Yourself. Operation Feed Yourself was not just a matter of just producing what we consume within our household, but to be able to ultimately, in a compost way, build our capacity to take care of ourselves so that we will not be dependent on imports. Because around that time, we had a situation whereby it was difficult to even get sardine. We had to use the proceeds from a fight of DK poison, for example, to import. Go over my line. So we've seen difficult times. We saw a situation where in Ghana here, drought affected us so much in 1982-83 that even people have to queue to buy corn dough, take it home and go and cook. In fact, we couldn't even buy soap. We're using what we call atomic bomb. Some soap, when he can fight with you within the bathroom, you will never be able to touch it. You understand? Look, Gary and Kose was the order of the day. So in those situations, we were depending.
The Gary and Kose, how were you eating it?
You put some little bit of oil on the Gary.
Yeah.
And then you mash the Kose with it.
And
you just eat it. No, when it came to those situations, we saw the need and the importance of the ordinary things that we use in our household that we don't give prominence to. You understand? We saw the need to consume our erefua and then Keta schoolboys. It became the delicacy of many. It has not left, up to today, it has not left the international hotels menu. You go there, sometimes you have akpene and what do you call it? Fetridechi, including Keta schoolboys. So we were developing, and then all of a sudden, we transitioned into that international taste phase. That today, you and I have difficulty in consuming Ghana's own rice in our homes. We prefer perfumed rice from Thailand. You understand? So self-dependence is key.
Homegrown solutions.
Homegrown solutions and homegrown production. So that when we are faced with this international situation, so I'm happy the MPA says we are 5 weeks, but 5 weeks to me, even though it's good, it's unprecedented, it's not enough. I wish we can say that we have stockpile of maybe 6 months, a year. As US are. US, as they are doing all these things, tomorrow, let there be a global this thing on the oil. They have their own local oil. They will depend on. During the time of Biden, when they had the shutdown and this one, they were forced to release part of their oil to be able to, because they couldn't import. They didn't have the money to import. So it is important that we know if we can build our resilience in all spheres of our economic life, then when these international pressures happen, it becomes very, for example, when COVID happened, then we saw the need for improve upon our health infrastructure. You understand?
Did we learn from COVID?
I think to some extent we learned something, because now we are learning to manufacture our own vaccines. We are learning to have local production of vaccines and all that distance. We are learning. We decided to have more hospitals. You understand? Let me say the stalled Agenda 111, for example. It came into our mind that if we had more of the University of Ghana hospital built by John Mahama, we will not have problems. Because when it became critical, that's where people went to. When it became critical, the government had to open the hospital after a protest by, is it Kenyeboa or something?
No, Reginald, yeah. Actually,
so,
my mate from school.
We all decided as a country.
Reginald Sichi Brown.
Yes. In Parliament, we all saw the need to approve. We took the Agenda 111 on a certificate of urgency in Parliament, bipartisan. We moved on it. Today, if we build our health capacity, when anything like that happens, we know that we are. The same way we need to build our oil industry in such a way that we will have the sort of backup that will not make us a bit suffer during such unexpected happenings internationally or globally. It's not only in those two sectors. I believe, for example, in the production of rice, what happened in Burkina, as my brother referred to, for example, has immediately led to the increase in the price of tomatoes at the market, because it has affected the
supply chain.
It has affected the importation of tomatoes. So now, government has immediately an emergency look at how we can fast track the agric basins in areas like northern region, upper east, northeast, savannah and the rest, to produce more tomatoes so that we don't stop our people from going all the way to Burkina to bring in tomatoes. But I've seen situations where in my own small enclave in Greater Accra, in a Dangbe area, we produce tomatoes, sometimes there's a glut that they don't even get people to buy. So we need to build our system in such a way that when these tomatoes are produced, their lifespan is so short. What do we do? How do we preserve them for tomorrow when we get to off-season? So that in case of what has happened in Burkina, we can release the buffer we have in order to forestall prices running up. So MPA's move is good, but I think we can build on that. And I want to congratulate Edudzi Tamaklo and his folks at MPA. That is good. We say it's unprecedented. We've never had this level. We should build on it. I'm happy today Tor is working again. What we should do is, how do we increase the capacity of Tor to be able to refine more, so we can have more in our own reserves, so that BOST can have some to supply, so that it will not make us vulnerable to these international pressures.
Honorable Kokofo, I'll come to you pretty shortly, but I still want to stay with the Honorable Van der Poy. Listening to you, I take out two main issues: homegrown solutions, building local capacity. But I want to ask, what's the role of responsible and efficient economic management in building the necessary guardrails? I go back to look at the Auditor General's report on COVID, and some of the findings are very distasteful in terms of how the taxpayers' money was used, right? You go back to look at even other reports around even US aid. I'm not really sure about the US aid point, but let me just stick on COVID, because that's what we know from the Auditor General's report. So what's the role of responsible economic management, so that we don't have to always be at the beck and call of these?
I wouldn't even restrict it to economic management. I would restrict it to governance. Governance, as you know. If we have responsible governance and we make sure our systems work, one, it becomes very difficult for someone to use situations like that to corrupt himself and to benefit from these unfortunate situations if our governance system works. Two, if it doesn't work, and we've seen some of these infractions, what are the mitigating factors we immediately implement to make sure that people do not get opportunity to go on that tangent anymore?
Yeah.
What punitive measures are there? So that is why I'm happy with the Chief Justice's reforms under the recent agenda, to make sure that we have special courts to deal with said things, so that people will speedily be given opportunity to defend themselves, and then the necessary punitive sanctions are placed on them for going the way they went, so that all of us as a country can build a little bit more trust in our systems to make sure that in such situations people don't. So it's all about governance system. Once we get our governance system strengthened and we are able to get our institutions a bit more, let me say, insulated from these sort of infractions and this sort of corruption, it will help us be able to maintain that distance, so that we can improve upon our local self-made and, let me say, our own systems that will be able to help us or be resilient to these pressures when they happen. Let me say this. So, for example, tomorrow, if our 5 weeks buffer runs out, there's assuming this unfortunate and unexpected and unwarranted and unnecessary war continues, what capacity do we have beyond that? It's going to have effect on all the economic indicators we have. The financial stability we've even achieved, it's going to be affected. So I'm looking at this as a lesson built upon whatever we've been able to reset at Tor, make Tor so be able to refine more or get opportunity to open up other refineries so that we can produce more oil, refine more, stockpile more, so that in case of this is when they happen, we can have.
Dr. Kokofu, so same issues, right? How do we build the necessary capacity? Your colleague, Honorable Van der Poel, says that homegrown solutions, let's eat what you grow, support local rice farmers, let's build that guardrails. What are your views around being self-reliant?
Yeah, before I come to that, I'm a bit surprised. You took all that he said for the answer to the question you asked him. You asked him whether these external shocks are going to affect us, and that they did,
yes.
and that they did politics with
but
it
he
when
said,
they were in opposition.
I'm
coming.
He answered to
please,
say that.
Please. I've been sitting here. I've been sitting down quietly listening. You see, you posed a question, like you ask him, then he says, then you take it for an answer.
No, that is not it.
But listen. So
that is not it.
So the question is,
Dr. Kokofu,
do we, as a people,
you are listening, I was also listening.
Do we, as a people, Ghanaians, do we have to carry everything into politics when we know?
But that wasn't the question.
When we know. I'm asking my own question and I will give answers.
Selective perception.
Yes,
no, I ask the questions here. You can't ask questions and answer.
No, I'm coming to your point.
Okay.
You see, do we have to do that as a nation?
No.
When we know force majeure, we know external shocks that we do not have control over. You may have the most robust, resilient economy in the world. There are certain occurrences that you simply cannot. Are you telling me that Italy, USA, Germany, and all those, they didn't have robust medical systems in place when COVID struck?
But it minimized the effect on you.
Honorable,
I'm coming.
Wonderful.
We saw the devastating death that occurred in these developed countries because of COVID. So there are certain situations that go beyond human ability until at the time that it can stabilize. Yes, I agree that you might have a foundation, you must well built, structured. But it goes on to tell us that at certain point in time, when situations are far beyond our control, we must first admit, we must first let people know. It's so simple. If bombs from, somebody said 7,000 miles from here to Ukraine. So if there is a bomb in Ukraine, what have you got to do with Ghana? You asked, you said. NDC in opposition said so, all these things.
But when you were,
now,
do you remember you said that with Ebola?
Oh, you see.
You said that with Ebola.
You see, that is why I gave you all the necessary so that you can go your tangent. Allow me space and time. You see, now.
Let's agree that we don't do politics with these things. So now go back to the question.
So you agree with me that you were wrong?
Me?
No, yeah, NDC was wrong.
How?
Okay, if you don't admit, let me go forward. So you see, here we are as a country, and we importing these petroleum products in this country, and we don't determine the crude price. It's being determined worldwide. So when crude is $126 per barrel, and when crude gets to $50 per barrel, do you think we can have the same pump price in Ghana here?
It's not possible.
It's not possible. So under Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, crude oil is around $126 per barrel. And we are selling at, say, 14 cities here in Ghana. Today, before dawn, crude oil was around $56. And we're able to sell here 11 cities. or 10 cedis. And we are clapping for ourselves, saying that but we've put measures in place. What kind of measures? We want to see. We all want to see the kind of measures.
Then your people who are walking through the cocoa farms should stop immediately and come back to Parliament. I saw I know the press and the rest.
You see, let me build my point. Ghanaians will see the truth between the two political parties. When crude was $156 world market, it was being sold here in Ghana for 14 cedis per liter or so. Today, it is $56 and it's being sold for 10 to 11 cedis. Then the government come out and say that Matete petrol, fuel prices are down. We've been able to. You know for sure that it is not of your effort. It is not any economic magic.
No, but they managed the exchange rate. They've also significantly brought down inflation from 23. In fact, during the MPP's administration at a point, we hit what experts said was hyperinflation, 54. Your government brought it to 23 when we were leaving. As of yesterday, the statistician tells us it's 3.3, the 14th, month lowest. So I think we should give them some credit. Because the indicators.
Do you think the cocoa farmer is happy with all these figures? With the price cut? Of his cocoa?
No. So the world international price has come down. What do we do?
So it is the world international pricing that you are talking about. Is it not the case? Now that you are found in a mix, in a fix. Now, inflation has come down. What again? Interest rate, whatever. You are not spending.
The exchange rate.
You are not paying it. The exchange rate, you are cushioning it with our hard-earned dollars. Our hard-earned money. They've sold 18 metric tons of our gold reserves. They've sold them.
Why did you build it?
We built up to 32.
Why did you build it?
Please, I'm coming up. Kufuor Bawumia's government built the gold reserves to 32 metric tons before we left. You came in and added 8 to make about 37 or 38 metric tons. Today, as we speak, 18 is left. You've sold 18 metric tons of gold.
Why did we sell it?
Just to cushion the city. I'm coming. Just to cushion the city. No. And when you cushion the city, when you strengthen your currency, all you do is that you are promoting importation and killing exportation. That is it. That's the end result.
But Dr. Kokofu, don't you
cheap dollars on the market to import?
Let's come back.
You want to know? Let me explain it to him. Let me explain it to him.
I'll give you a chance to.
But do explain to him. Explain to because you want to know.
Let me ask the questions, then you respond to me.
Right.
So I'm asking you, what do you have to say to critics who say, for example, when they look at the Auditor General's report, and I can read some for you here, right?
Go ahead.
So, for example, the audit revealed that the Ministry of Health on behalf of government paid an amount of over $120,000, right, for the supply of vaccines. However, 5,000 doses of vaccines valued at 120 million, right? About 5 million of those vaccines valued at $38 million were supplied to the National Code Room, leaving a difference of 81 million with UNICEF and VAT and AVAT. I'm not sure what AVAT is, but the report goes on to also say how the ministry, without the approval of the Central Tender Committee, increased the cost of 5 contracts to a total sum of over 24 million Ghana cedis through different variation orders, right? So it's there. We can go back and look at the report. So there's a place for.
Ask me the question.
Yes. So I'm saying that. Do you agree when people say maybe when these shocks happened, we didn't manage some of the funds we had appropriately?
Thank you. This ends at campaigning. We are no more in campaign period. You are in office and you've seen infractions. You think you have evidence. What do?
You deal with it.
And so but there's oral.
We shall deal with it.
And so the oral The oral have come to tell us that they've collected $20 billion from people.
They didn't say that.
600 million
Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis.
No more $20 billion.
No, they said,
please.
estimate
$20 billion.
$20 billion.
That's all.
Yes.
And the Attorney General comes out to say what?
And the president at the State of the Nation.
And the Attorney General comes out to say what?
No, the president at the State of the Nation. The president has spoken.
Yes.
He said,
and the Attorney
we've
General
recovered
also spoke.
600 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
And 29 luxury vehicles.
Okay.
So clearly, oral is working.
Yeah, it's working. So why is it not working in this state? So if it is working, why are you going back?
But the Auditor General has powers to set charge. So we should see the Auditor General also make some.
So you have to see him, or I have got to see him.
I'll take a break and we'll be back to delve into the issues. We are still watching Breakfast Daily right here on ChannelOne TV. My guest, Dr. Henry Kokofu, Nilante Vanderpoel, helping us dissect the issues around the U.S.-Israel attack on Iran. We'll be back right after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. My name is Jude Duncan, sitting in for a regular host, Nana Tufo Boateng. Just gone by, we had a conversation on the Israel-U.S. attacks on Iran, the possible implications, the ramifications for smaller economies like Ghana, and of course, what we have to do to ensure that we don't feel the effects of it. And my guest sharing very insightful and useful, insights into this conversation. But we'll move on now from one energy-related conversation to another energy-related conversation, because the NPA has said that uniform fuel prices will protect consumers and competition. Abbas Tasunti, who is the Director for Economic Regulation and Planning at the NPA, was on Eyewitness News on CTFM yesterday and explained why the regulator had taken a position like that. I'll just read excerpts of that stories and I'll get my guests to respond to the issues. So the story on citynewsroom.com reads, the National Petroleum Authority has defended its decision to enforce uniform prices across all retail stations, saying the move will guarantee fairness for consumers while maintaining a competitive downstream petroleum sector. Speaking on ChannelOne Newsroom on Wednesday, March 4, 2026, Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti, Director of Economic Regulation and Planning at the NPA, explained that the policy eliminates the long-standing practice of location-based price discounts, which often resulted in some consumers paying more than others for the same fuel. Now, you know the backstory to this, right? Where some players within the space, called on the NPA to remove the price ceiling, because they felt that there was so much more in terms of value they could offer. And I'm referring to Star Oil and Gore, of course, would later even result into some form of social media banter, where now some of these oil marketing companies started serving breakfast. And in an attempt to woo clients, some of these oil marketing companies now decided to reduce prices at selected fuel stations. Now, of course, with all that's ongoing with regards to the Middle East and its implication on our fuel, the NPA is trying to bring some reforms to the sector, and this is one of such reforms. So I'll start off with you, Honorable Nilante Vanderpoel. Would you say this is a step in the right direction?
Well, let me say this. In all economic theory, so to tell you that perfect competition is good. It gives opportunity to the consumer to be able to decide which product and which sort of price to pay for commodities. So perfect competition is good economically, and theoretically is good. But when you have a situation whereby we want to create the right environment for national development, then you also have to put in certain regulations to be able to make sure that there is no, let me say, impunitive perfect competition, where people will take advantage of the markets in order to destroy other competitors. If, for example, we allow what is happening to continue, the marketing companies are now sourcing their products from different sources. So I could decide to go to a very cheap source, have a cheap product, come to the market, use the discount regime under the regulation, and make my product so cheap that I will take over the market. But ultimately, that will also affect the total revenue outlook of the country. because the margins will then come down. So I think what the regulator is doing is to be able to have a sort of system whereby the discounting regime within the sector will be level.
Equal playing field.
Equal playing field, so that then it creates a very even field for everybody. Use your own marketing skills and marketing strategies to be able to attract the customers. Instead of allowing people to use their own advantages based upon a discount to do that. What I was saying was that in that situation, the oil marketing companies that are proactive to some of the rural areas, mostly inaccessible areas, will have that opportunity now to be able to reach out to those people and not cause too much price fluctuations within their environment. The reason why Star Oil, for example, right from day one, was concerned about this was the fact that within that space, they are the ones who are really in the rural areas, because they serve some of the, let me say, unreachable communities, especially the landlocked areas, through their supply of premiums, for example. With my work at DRIP, trying to see how the assemblies can easily access energy, fuel for the trucks.
Yeah.
When we did analysis, we saw that there are a lot of the places where you cannot have, for example, Goil, because we had a relationship with Goil to be our main supplier. So what we have to do is to have a relation between Goil and Star Oil. So where Goil is not available, Star Oil will supply us in place of Goil. So we are able to see the dynamics and know that Star Oil. So they thought that if this thing become uniform, the same level, then it will be able to give them some stability where they can reach out to more communities within those difficult enclaves and not have effect on their outends. So I think after the confusion and all this front and back and all those, I think it's good that the regulator has come in to clear the system and create a level of even playing field for everybody, so that sitting here, I won't say that, oh, because I want to get all the customers of Kokofu, tomorrow I'm going to tweak with the price regime, have this level of discount, and then I'll take all the customers of Kokofu. In that situation, what I'm actually doing is that I am destroying Kokofu's business. You understand? So that nobody will really have the upper hand within the industry, and all of them will be able to have a distance, so that your marketing skills, your marketing strategies will be able to attract
to fall.
You yourself said it. Some of them decided to even give breakfast to the customers in order to get them, because at that time they were seeing the competition being keen, and all of them want to have profit.
Yeah.
So the more customers you get, the more you get your margins and get your profits. So I think it's good. It's good. We should allow the regulator to use it. I know the regulator has already put before Parliament a review of the existing regulations, so that all these discounting regimes will be looked at, so that the competition within the sector will not be unbridled, where people will take advantage against others.
Honorable Dr. Kokofu, there was also an element of unfairness with the previous or the status quo, where you go to one particular fuel station of the same OMC and it's a different price. You drive further to a different place and it's a different price. So you say this is good because it removes the element of unfair pricing.
Well, that's okay. I would like that we educate the public a bit further, a bit insight in this. But before then, let me commend my colleague for praising Nana Danko Ekufuado and Dr. Baumia's initiatives. I mean, the foresight by this Agenda 111. You know, he mentioned the vaccine manufacturing initiative, and indeed his own DRIP. You know, these are some of the
DRIP
things.
is not Baumia's.
Oh, please. DRIP.
But DRIP was from the previous administration.
No. No. You see, history, people are making a mistake.
Oh, please.
Under John Mahama, we started DRIP. But it's the name, it's the nomenclature.
We are referring to the current structure in place.
Yes. So what I'm saying that.
So you brought in the tractors and the equipment and all
yes,
that.
under John Mahama.
You brought, and gracious God.
Oh, I'm surprised.
My
Kokofu,
God of mercy.
I'm surprised you don't know this. Under Jomama, we had.
Please, should we stop our others and go to the records and bring out all these things about
the historical account.
So it is the name change
for local government.
So it was.
I was deputy minister for local government.
Please,
when we brought the equipment, let me give you an example.
Please,
the equipment was part of the equipment was what was used to dredge the Korle Lagoon after the June 3rd
thank
disaster.
you. That's my floor. Please, thank you for the unsolicited intervention.
And what year was this in Mohammed's first term?
2015.
2015.
Yes.
So
we'll check.
Yes.
So viewers, it is for you to judge.
286
Drip,
equipment.
the vaccines, manufacturing, Agenda 111, and others, just to boost our resilience. Thank you for drawing our attention.
No,
to
but
that.
even if I want to push on Agenda 111, how many of the hospitals have been completed?
No, even if it is one, it is an initiative. It's something that we are building a nation.
Government's
Continue.
address says we are going to continue on.
Yes, he has no option than to continue because this is key for the people of
Ghana.
Ghana.
Your home region, which was the first one they launched, the Crude hospital, is it functioning?
No.
Oh, of course, it's functioning.
Huh?
Really?
It's functioning, yeah.
Oh, no.
So they are taking care of patients there
Yes.
as we speak.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, but I'm saying yes, you are saying no. So what's your problem?
The Minister of Health said it's escalating.
No, you see, it's not about you. No. I'm
Because
saying
the
this, yes.
Deputy Health Minister on the floor of Parliament, said that not a single one of the Agenda 111 hospitals is fully
It's operational.
functioning.
That one is working. So let me
The
continue.
one is working,
Yes.
but the rest are not working.
I don't know, but that one I know. You see, back to your question. The status quo, what is happening now? Is it backed by law?
Yes.
By legislation? I just want to know because I want us to educate the public. Is it backed by law?
Yes.
It's backed by law.
Yes.
Okay. So the new one they want to bring, is it also backed by law?
Yes. They are law. You see, the point they have, even this morning, is he was...
Because you see, please, I have the floor. If the status quo is backed by law and you want to do away with it, it means you have to
Go back to the law.
You see,
and,
their law...
and cancel the existing one.
Let me give you an example. You see,
Or you go for an amendment.
Their law, the next clause after the main one on this discounting, say if an LMC may use discount in that, so the law gave some room to the OMCs.
No, this is the regulator speaking.
So
Yes,
the statement
yes.
from the MPA said that it indicated that a revision has been undertaken to strengthen the existing guidelines, ensure compliance with pricing formula regulations LI 2186, LI 2222, and of course to enhance effective monitoring, enforcement, and compliance to sustain petroleum downstream industry. So I think they are minded about the law.
So it's been amended. That's all that I wanted to do because the public needs to know. Because you can't just wake up one day and say one thing without recourse to the law. So if it's been amended, so be it. Now, what is then going to happen to competitive marketing? This is price control in disguise.
No, really.
No,
We are going to have uniform pricing. So is it price control?
So, Honorable Kokofu, what we are talking about here is not uniform pricing across all OMCs. It is uniform prices with respect to specific OMCs. You know,
within their own internal arrangement.
Within their own internal arrangement.
So that they wouldn't be able to manipulate the system in terms of pricing.
Possibly.
And all that.
Possibly.
Well, if that is what the regulator thinks, it may sanitize the system. That's okay. But I don't see it as a remedy or something in preparedness for if there is going to be an escalation of this war. That may trigger oil crisis worldwide. So we may be affected because we have 5 weeks stock. And within that 5 weeks, and the war still rages on, the crude is not coming, what are we going to do? These are some of the things we want to hear. The preparedness.
They spoke on that as well.
Okay, so let us bring that to fore. Because that is what Ghanaians are looking at.
So according to Abbas Tasunti, despite having about 5 to 6 weeks of fuel, stored for reserves, they are also looking at alternative, supply routes, basically. So that is being explored. So hopefully they're able to come out with some announcement in the coming days on what they intend to do for a more long-term view.
Beautiful. So Ghanaians should not be panicking over fuel crisis in due course. Is it not the case?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is it. We live to see. And we hope that we don't get there. If you should get there, then it means all the so-called economic gains we are touting ourselves may come to ground zero. And that would be very, very, very bad for the nation and our economy. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime we are talking about external shocks, whether force majeure or some form of global disturbances, we must all put our minds to it as a nation. We can do our politics, we can do everything, but what is beyond our means, we shouldn't make it appear that it is somebody's negligence or somebody's mismanagement and all that. Going forward, we will see how the government is going to respond to some of these shocks that are coming. The very first test had been this cocoa pricing shock. It has hit them so seriously, and this country will for a long time reel over this unfortunate situation. If tomorrow we are to get up and say we are seeing a fall in gold pricing, what are we going to do? Because basically the economy is hinged on gold. We go and gather, the government himself, the state himself is now out there gathering gold, then go and sell. Yeah, we are gathering gold. Gold board is gathering the gold everywhere, looking for gold.
Then licensed,
whether licensed, whether unlicensed, whether what. So all those golds that are being produced, the licensees are bringing them, isn't? So we've licensed illegal mining activities in this country.
You were within the sector.
Yes, of course.
Were you gathering gold?
No. No, we are not gathering gold because we never place the economy solely on gold. The danger of placing your economy on a single commodity, you are courting that disease. You are courting resource curse to the negligence of all others. Because you see, as we speak today, cocoa matters no more to us as an economic activity. It used to be the backbone of our economy. Today it doesn't matter most to us. The priority is on gold. Where is agriculture and value addition? It's not there. It's not our priorities. We are interested. Our
economy is diversified.
We are interested in getting cheaper dollars on the market, so people can go in and import cheap rice, bring them in, so people can buy cheap rice in Ghana. That is all that the government is comfortable with, and we live to see.
No, but they're also developing a lot of homegrown solutions, right? So the president, and because you mentioned agriculture, there's also in Kokon Kitten, which is aimed at...
Where 728 were given to 13,000 farmers.
I'm not sure that's what the president
728 what?
Oh, it was reported.
That's what?
The president said 728 beds have been given to, distributed to 13,000.
Is it possible?
But it was said.
By who?
By whom?
It was, you don't know.
Who reported it? I've not heard it.
You haven't heard it?
I've not heard it.
Do yourself.
I'll get you the information.
Do the division yourself.
That is the wonder. That is the wonder. NDC government is so wonderful. I mean, magicians.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Kokofu.
That we can divide 728 by 13,000.
Let's come back to the issue. Others have said that, in fact, the price war that the MPA uses to determine, fuel prices and how low or high OMCs can go should even be removed in the first place. I remember the Star Oil CEO in the past actually called for the scrapping of it so Ghanaians can get more value. Is it time we go back to some of these calls, particularly because of also what is happening in the Middle East?
Well, I don't get the drift, but then I still believe that the oil industry is so volatile, so sensitive, that little things that comes up to it may cause a whole lot of dislocation in the system. I cannot, at this point, agree to it or not, because I haven't taken time and trouble to cross-check. But the bottom line is the supply. If we have enough supply in the system, then demand and supply comes to play. And the quality is as well very necessary, compromising the quality. Because an OMC may compromise with the quality and then be selling at a cheaper rate. That is also there.
Right.
So for me, the NPA, the regulator, has a lot to do. Cheating at the pump, the quality of the products.
All of that.
Yes. Are you aware that some companies are selling premix in their pumps?
Really?
Yeah, premix are being diverted to some of these companies. Yeah, they are selling
I've
them,
not come across
and
that.
they are selling them for vehicle users.
Wow.
Why?
That for more money.
How?
Yes.
In which
the
areas?
fuel is cheap. So why will you use premise?
Go to where I'll give you the
areas.
a station. The station was I think, was it Adom or Asempa? Yeah, they were looking at it. They mentioned those companies that were doing that.
Honorables, thank you so much for again your deep insights into the issue around the fuel pricing and the MPA's order for uniform pump prices. We'll just end with brief thoughts, right, on our final conversation for the day on decongesting prisons as government lays out the community service bill before Parliament. We know of some of the really deplorable states of our prisons, right? If you go to Nsawon, a facility that was initially meant for a little over maybe 1,000 people now houses in excess of many people, and the conditions there are very deplorable. But for the Pentecost Church, constructing some prisons in parts of the country, the situation would have been dire. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's the best news for us as a people. And I'm saying the people within the social sector should be happy about this. We should support it. Some of us sometimes sit back and we don't know what our fellow Ghanaians who unexpectedly and sometimes, let me say, unintentionally get themselves involved in certain crimes that lead to they being incarcerated in such deplorable conditions. I've had a relationship with the Nsawon prison, for example, where annually we used to go and play football with them and then donate some items to them. We get opportunity.
From the constituency?
No, Liberty Oldies.
Okay.
During the time of the late Alhaji Slightete, because he used to play with them. And also because Honorable B.T. Wabba then was the director of Liberty. So we had that relationship. And sometimes when you go there, I met friends, people I have known. I've been looking for them. I thought they had traveled outside the country. And I went and met them there. And when they tell you the stories which led them to get into the place, it's unfortunate. I have one story I've never stopped talking about. A very good friend of mine, we used to play football together. And he became this bookman at the station, Carnation Odoko station. And there's a queue. And this person tried to cross the queue. So when the person can say, look, JQ, I don't have to lie. The person said, why? And it's like playing, he pushed the person fell. Hit his head against the curb around the
Wow. You mean a violent?
No, the person died. He's there for life. And you can see that his life is gone.
He's broken.
So some of these places are not a pleasant place for anyone. And you don't know what could lead you there.
Yeah.
So I think that we watch other jurisdictions and we see that the environment they live in. I think that this is a good thing. We should have more community services, which I think will become more deterrent than
wasting away in
people in prison. I think
Dr.
so.
Kokofu, you have the final
It's a
word
good
on
thing
this.
for
Well,
us.
ideally that would have been a
seconds.
good policy, but the point is how is it going to be implemented? The abuse. We are in a system where indiscipline across all levels. So if the implementers can assure us that indeed we can get to this model, why not? Because international standards, they are using it. So I will plead with the implementers, the prison servers, the social. If we have a good social service networking, that would have been most ideal. Yeah.
Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu, and of course, Honorable Neil Ante Vanderpoel, who heads DRIP. He says President Mahama started this
Happy birthday to Ghana.
Long ago. Exactly. Tomorrow is also our 69th Independence Day celebration. We've come a long way as a people. Like they say, a country that doesn't, or a people that doesn't understand their history or know their history, are bound to repeat the mistakes of the past. So as we celebrate our 69th Independence and celebration, let's make it a point to know more about our country. Let's make it a point to be responsible citizens, and you know that would inure to all of us our benefits. The Heritage on Air series is ongoing on CTFM and ChannelOne TV. Do it, make it a part to learn something new every day by watching all of the videos we have, the conversations we have on the show. But that's all time will allow us for today's edition of the News Review discussion. I hope you've learned something new. My name is Jude Duncan. I sat in for a regular host, Nana for Boatin. Up next, Philip and Chris Carter come your way with a lot more exciting conversations. Don't go away.
Philip is wearing...
Go.